大家好，我是玉泰。我来到俄罗斯的第一年，我就看到了俄罗斯的民族舞蹈，我真的很喜欢它，它色彩鲜艳明亮，有很多乐趣。我注意到，在俄罗斯民族舞蹈中有很多男人和女人一起跳，这是一种双人舞。在中国，民族舞蹈大多以女人为主，男人较少，这是一个很有趣的现象。
Вечерки was the name for a special leisure pastime in Russia in old days. It denoted the time and place where the boys and girls of the village could spend time together. Such meetings were usually held in the evenings, and young men and women who were looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend and were ready for matchmaking took part in them. It was a way of socializing, knowing each other better, having some activity together. On big Slavic holidays, the вечерки get-together could attract people of different ages. They made festive food, danced and sang together. Not only the young people liked to enjoy themselves in a noisy company. However, the main purpose of the traditional вечерки evenings is to introduce young people to show their best side, both in games and at work. At such meetings, guys and girls were looking for a mate. Вечерки gatherings were not all fun and dance. Such evenings could be divided into leisure and working evenings. Working together, doing some easy house chores, was a possibility to know each other better. They learned who was good both at work and fun. The guys watched the girls sewing, weaving, embroidering. They evaluated which girl would become a good housewife.
Казачок.
In autumn and winter, girls often gathered for spinning evenings. The girl could spend the whole day spinning from morning to evening. Often during the day, young girls and elder women tried to spin together. They listened to their stories about life, legends, fairy tales, and tried to adapt their skills. Later in the evening, guys joined in. Another type of work evening gatherings were cabbage evenings. In the fall, when the cabbage was harvested, girls and women gathered in somebody's home. On such days, they dressed up in the best clothes to show their beauty. During the day, they chopped and fermented cabbage. In the evening, cabbage pies were prepared and guys were invited to the party. Why did people need such pastime events in Russia? Вечерки get-together was not just a place to exchange the latest news. Here boys and girls got to know each other, often talked for a long time, which is why these meetings are as well called conversations. And the games and dances were arranged in such a manner that as many guys and girls as possible could participate and stand with each other in pairs exchange a few words, and look at each other.
Коробочка.
The girls, in their turn, watched how the guys behaved, whether they talked politely not only with the girl herself, but also with their mates and older people, whether they knew how to behave and be courteous and nice. So in the old days, at meetings with long conversations, songs and dances, the Slavs chose a mate for themselves. And after that, the guy sent matchmakers to the house of his beloved one. Two types of вечерки evenings gatherings could be distinguished: everyday or work вечерки and festive вечерки. At work gatherings, girls used to spin, knit, sew, tell fairy tales and news, and sing lingering songs. Guys were also allowed to be present, but they behaved modestly and just watched the girls working. Festive gatherings were different from everyday ones. They were more crowded, and they almost never worked at the festive gatherings, but sang, danced, and played different games. And very good refreshments and food were often arranged too. Depending on the venue, there were three types of gatherings. The number one, from the heart-to-heart gatherings, organized in turn by each of the girls. Number two, get-togethers in a specially rented boat house. And number three, gatherings in the Russian bath, which is called banya. The heart-to-heart gatherings were arranged in turn by all the girls, and occasionally even by the guys. The queue went from one end of the village to the other. And if the parents of the girl whose turn it was couldn't or did not want to host the get-together, they rented a house from some old woman for a certain period of time. The girl, the hostess of the gatherings, cleaned the hut herself before the event and after, and her friends could also help her. The first day of the spinning evening opened like this. The day before, one of the girls went from one house to another and invited the girls to the place. They came to the dinner dressed as usual and got to work. Gatherings in rented premises were most often arranged at the house of some people in need, for example, an old woman, old maids or widows, or a poor family. The girls found a house in advance and agreed on the terms of its payment. Heating, lighting, cleaning of the hut were all arranged in advance, and all the girls shared the cost. The rest for the venue was also paid by the girls themselves. They usually rented a room for a whole winter, or often paid for it with the labor of all participants. For example, harvesting in summertime, spinning, storing firewood, bringing potatoes, tea, bread, flour, grain, and etc.
Подоспать.
It was quite possible that some guy attended the gathering without paying anything, but such a newcomer, according to local tradition, couldn't participate equally. He could neither sit near the girl or approach any girl, nor dance with her. The guys tried to come with gifts. Pockets full of seeds, nuts, gingerbread. They helped the girls to share the cost of the rent and other expenses. Usually there were two main groups of girls in the village, marriageable girls and teenagers. Evening activities between the elders, so-called brides-to-be, and the youngers, called grow-up, were organized accordingly. Girls began to visit such gatherings at the age of 12 to 15 years of old, when the age corresponded to the puberty period, separated the young women from girls. However, the beginning was determined not only by the age of physical development, but also by the girls' labor skills in female chores.
Карабет.
Usually, the guys came to the gatherings at a time when the girls had already managed to do a significant part of their daytime job. Unlike the girls, the guys were not tied to a certain place. During the evening, they managed to dance and attend several girls' parties, and sometimes even visited the neighboring villages. But in the gatherings, girls played the leading role. The dependent position of the guys was already expressed in the fact that they had to sit down on the floor in front of the girl they liked. The guys at the gatherings were looking for the brides. She's hardworking and beautiful and wise, they would say. They had fun with dancing, singing songs, and playing games. The guys usually brought to the girls nuts, sunflowers, and gingerbread. The communication style at such events was free, kissing, fussing, but it never went any further. The etiquette of courtship at the gatherings boiled down to the fact that the guys interfered with the girls' work and made fun of that. A significant role at the gatherings was given to the games and fun, including playing different games and having round dance songs. Popular games among the youngsters was in the doves, in the neighbor, or in the eye, and so on. They played it in the following way. They put a bench in the middle of the room, and the guy and the girl sat on different ends. The other guy tapped on the center of the bench, and the girl and the guy had to turn back. If they turned in the same direction, they had to kiss. If they turned in different directions, the guy had to leave, and the girl stayed and called out for another guy. So the game repeated all over again. Dances were also common at the gatherings. Also, they danced such types of dances as krakowiak, polka, waltz, and lancer.
Ночка!
At the very beginning of this film, we wanted to explain to you the definition of the event called the вечерки evening. And we also tried to let you know that there were different types of вечерки get-together evenings in Russia in old days. We also tried to produce the atmosphere of gatherings and our young men and girls, they showed some elegant examples of typical dances for вечерки evenings. And we also want to point out that the specialists and experts of music and dancing, they depict some characteristic feature of round dance song. They say that the main part of the song is very melancholic and very slow, but the chorus of the song is very bright and lively. And now I want to present to you several songs of Penza region.
Эх, не по полю расстилался, не густое туман, не по полю расстилалась, не густой туман. А деньги льется, деньги льются, как вода, а барышни зазнаются, прямо чистая беда. Кавалеры на бумаге, а барышни нипочем, сами пьют холодную воду, закусают кирпичом. А идти высотель, черные брови горбуна, на что мать родила, чтоб девушка любила. Гай, 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 зелененько, на что меня полюбила девка молоденька. Эх, не по полю разъезжался молодой казак, а не по полю разъезжалась молодой казак. А деньги льются, как вода, а барышни зазнаются, прямо чистая беда. Кавалеры на бумаге, а барышни нипочем, сами пьют холодную воду, закусают кирпичом. А етели высотели, черные брови горбуна, на что мать родила, чтоб девушка любила. Гай, 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 зелененько, на что меня полюбила девка молоденька.
There were different styles and types of round dances in Russia. In the most ancient one, the girls joined their hands and were moving clockwise, imitating the motion of the sun. Then they moved backwards, that was against the sun. This was actual, original round dance. The girls could spend several hours dancing. There were dance leaders among the girls. While dancing, they could get in some altered state of consciousness. Another type of the round dance was ornamental round dance. One of the girls was leading the other girls, who made a line. So moving in the line, they made different shapes, such as spiral image, or they could move from side to side in a snake trace manner. Then the dancers could split into two lines and then move towards each other in order to join again. There also was the game round dance. In such dance, most of the participants stood in the shape of the semicircle, and in the center, the rest of the dancers made a performance presenting the lyrics of the song.
А Катя маленькая, эх, разудаленькая, своехотливая, гулять охотливая, эх, своехотливая, гулять охотливая. О, немало, Катю, мать, перестань, Катя, гулять. Эх, о, немало, Катю, мать, эх, перестань, Катя, гулять. Родимая моя мать, тебя меня не унять. Эх, родимая моя мать, эх, тебе меня не унять, тебя меня не унять, я повадилась гулять, эх, я повадилась гулять, эх, на ту сторону ходить, на ту сторону ходить, все Иванушку любит, эх, и Катя маленькая, эх, и разудаленькая, своехотливая, гулять охотливая, своехотливая, гулять охотливая.
The songs differed from one another not only by tempo rhythm. In the beginning, the songs were slow, melodious, and the chorus part became quicker, more dynamic. They differed also by the manner of singing, their melodic composition, and tone structure. I will now sing a song from Городище area of Penza region, which is characterized by no-tone composition.
А ты пыжика, мужика в поле, а ты пыжика, мужик в поле, а я млада дома, я млада дома. А распосейка моя горя, распосейка моя горя, по цестому полю, по цестому полю. А уродися моя горя, уродися моя горя, не рожь, не пшеница, не рожь, не пшеница. А не рожь, не рожь, не пшеница, не рожь, не рожь, не пшеница, трава муравая, трава муравая. Все цветы, цветы алые, все цветы, цветы алые, один всех милее, один всех милее. Все дрожки, дрожки милые, все дрожки, дрожки милые, один всех милее, один всех милее.
Once again, I want to remind you that the main purpose of вечерки gatherings was matchmaking. This resulted in many men and women finding their couples for life, and the guy's parents sent matchmakers to the girl's family to agree about the marriage and the wedding. Later on, usually in winter, the relatives were preparing for the wedding, and already in spring, when the wedding took place, a special praising song to the newlyweds was performed. I will now sing the song called "The Grapevine in the Garden Grows."
Виноград в саду растет, виноград в зеленом цветет, а ягодка, ягодка, поспевай поскорей, а ягодка, ягодка, поспевай поскорей. Виноград, цвет Иван господин, виноград, цвет Петрович господин, а ягодка, ягодка, свет Марюшка душа, а ягодка, ягодка, свет Ивановна. На них все дивовались, на них все любовались, что хорош, что пригоже уродились они, что хороше, что пригоже уродились они. Дай вам свет и любовь и совет, дай вам свет и любовь и совет, во совете да в любови век вам радостно прожить, во совете да в любови век вам радостно прожить.